So let me go back with you to the year 1100, which is important. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't go back so far. In the year 1100, there was a gentleman called Baldwin the First. I don't know if you hear him or not. But then, by that time, by the way, he was a very important, famous guy. Every headline in every newspaper, every magazine, every TV station, every Instagram had his photo. Baldwin the First established what's supposed to be the eternal kingdom of Jerusalem. Okay? And he declared that history has been corrected. And again, the Holy Land is in the hand of the Crusaders. And therefore, from now until the Day of Judgment, this land will continue to be controlled by the Crusaders. In order to confirm that, he built the most amazing castles in the region. And some of them, until today, stand as amazing buildings. Really, one of them, of course, is the Shobak. It's called the Shobak Castle, if people are aware of it, which stands as one of the most amazing. And it was supposed to be the series of castles on the river of Jordan in order to protect the state, which was formed at that time forever. The castle still exists. Baldwin did not survive the century, and his kingdom disappeared as quick as his two successors took over that kingdom of Jerusalem. 100 years later, a little bit, another gentleman decided to correct history in the Middle East. His name is Hulaco. And this time, he wanted to erase the civilization by taking over Baghdad and destroy it totally, a total genocide of the population of Baghdad and the rest of the major cities after not very long time, to his offspring becoming part of that region, embraced Islam and being digested by the flow of history in the land. Embraced Islam and being digested by the flow of history in the land. Many others tried the same. Napoleon Bonaparte also, he tried to civilize Egypt, if you remember, with his magnificent army of soldiers and scientists when they took over Egypt, to civilize Egypt and bring enlightenment to the region. He survived 3 years and he was humiliated and kicked out. So I can count tens of initiatives, ending with Sykes-Picot, of course, which has created the current reality of fragmentation, of chaos and total collapse that we are suffering from today. The most important thread in all these initiatives, that all initiatives came from the West, were full of hubris, ignorance, and arrogance. Until today, there is an initiative, this morning, there is an initiative, something called the New Middle East. This word, the New Middle East, is emerging always. During my lifetime, I can count tens of New Middle Easts, planned by this fantastic, great leaders of the world who wanted to fix and correct history in that part of the world. But the flow of history in the Middle East continued, and it will continue, and it will overlast them. Most of those people who tried to do this thought that by having the force and the military and the technology, they can really enforce whatever they would like to do. They could. Yes, they could. If you have nuclear weapon, as Israel has today, if you have the B-2, as the Americans have today, of course you can do things. But that will be registered as anomalies in history. It will be exception. And then history will continue, because this land will always reject any invader who thinks he can come and continuously establish something that goes against the region, against its history, against its memory, against this collective spirit where prophets, emperors, and leaders and philosophers has built over thousands of years. It's very arrogant of Netanyahu to think that he could establish a new Middle East by having the force of a state which was illegitimately established in a land which has been for millennia kicking out invaders like him, much more powerful and maybe much more enlightened than him. So we go back to the current situation. What we are going through right now, again, is a period of time where we have a lot of weakness. And people sometimes think that the resilience of the region could be, understood as weakness. And the silence is understood as consent. No, they don't know this region. They don't know the people of this region. They don't know the multi-layers personality and memory of this region. Silence is not consent, and resilience is not weakness. But the Palestinians in West Bank and Gaza are giving to the world, day after another, an example of endurance and examples of resistance that no one has seen before. When we are talking about Vietnam, which was bombed, as you know, and destroyed for 8 years, small size of Gaza bombed 18 times. If you compare the geography, more than Vietnam, and still the people of Gaza are there. This is very important for us. At the core of all these grand initiatives of the so-called New Middle East stands Palestine and the Palestinians. And as long as the Palestinians are suffering from this injustice, whoever normalizes with Israel, it does not really matter. Israel will always feel existential fear, simply because it could not recognize justice for the people of Palestine. Regardless of who's going, tomorrow you will see, maybe you might see, governments in the region rushing to shake the hand of Netanyahu in order to convert him from a man of a genocide into a man of peace. It could happen. Why not? I mean, these guys could do it. But think about it. This is irrelevant to the grand picture. As long as there is injustice, there will continue to be resistance. There will continue to be people who will stand against the current structure and maneuvers to engineer and re-engineer the Middle East. It's not going to happen. So this is a moment where we need to take a stance. Why? I think what's happening now, Gaza could become the graveyard of not only the world order, because I think the world order already collapsed. It is the graveyard of every noble idea and moral standard that we taught our children to teach their children. It is an end of every idea of or imagination of something called good future. If we normalize ourselves with a genocide live streamed on our TV screens, that becomes the norm. And that's very scary. Because that norm could happen to everyone, everywhere. Once you dehumanize the other, and then you genocide him, and that process is accepted, guess who in the future might also suffer from the same formula? Because Israel today is rewriting the rules of the game. And it is extremely dangerous for everyone, including for Israel itself. This is a very dangerous moment. We need to stand not only for the people of Palestine, moral issue only, anymore a humanitarian issue, not even a moral issue only. It is an issue of the very survival of our civilization as we know it, or as we hoped to see it for ourselves and for our future. If we normalize with the current reality, then we one day will find ourselves becoming members of the tribes, not because of ideology or conviction, because we would like to protect ourselves from our neighbors. Because then the jungle will be established and we are going to suffer from it everywhere in the world. So this is why this is the right moment for a global or universal uprising, technically. Not for Palestine, for keeping this dream of just world alive, the dream. I know that most of the regimes and the establishments across the world, especially in the West, are partners in this genocide. I don't count on them. I've never counted on them. I don't think anyone should count on them anyway. But our future is much more precious to be left for politicians. I think we need to take it ourselves in order to defend ourselves, our future, our children, our grandchildren, and our values and the dreams that we have ever thought about. So this is why it is a defining moment for the world, what's happening right in Gaza. It is a reminder that if we do not move forward and move stronger and in collaboration with each other, regardless of our differences, then we are going to see the new dark age, which might be much more brutal and much more dark than any moment the humanity has ever seen. Thank you very much.